great to be back in Prague again at the Micro Festival. Thank you, David and Louis. And thanks everybody else for coming and for making the festival what it is. I'm going to read from this new book, which hasn't yet been launched. It'll be launched when technical problems are sorted out at the printers. It's called Conspiracy, and it's a set of 144 12-line poems written between mid-May and mid-July 3 years ago in 2020, so the early period of the pandemic. And as it happened, just within a week of my starting it, the murder of George Floyd changed things drastically, shifted the narrative away from the pandemic to some extent, and of course the Black Lives Matter movement started. I wrote the poems one or more a day, every day. It's called Conspiracy in the etymological sense of breathing together. And there's at the beginning of it a quotation from the English 17th century counter-revolutionary Oliver Cromwell, wanting to deny political representation to those who have no property. He said at the Putney debates in 1647, "Where is there any bound or limit set, if you take away this, that men that have no interest but the interest of breathing shall have no voice in elections?" So, number 34, May 26. At the base of the tongue, several coaches in distinct majesty lolling where it is cold, gagged and blinded, collapsed accessories clash with the newer garden varieties, screaming in darkness, upset vessels of milk, otherwise unhurried in their approach. 35. It is fair to say that little is known concerning the action of toxic agents offering superior odds, combined with assurance of sizable damages against the prevalence of bad actors putting out agreed lines, when sightseeing offers most benefit. 36. Should suffocation be threatened, absent full scrutiny of the yellow staining, focused on matters of process, such shoddy facilities have nothing to offer bar loss of blood under a course of mercury overspilling its banks, while he was observed fleeing the eventual trial, salivating violently. 37. Next, we come to most possession hearings, where public adherence to fitful treasures, sitting or kneeling on the floor, almost useless as obstacles, will have to file and serve a vivid avarice of the bridge members, gleaming in oblique fire protected by gabions, could never have been. 38. Watching video of her episodes among the only people with no memory of events, since fever broke, aggrieved and fragile, inserting himself into the plot, ardently anticipated picture-perfect views, launched along a ropeway, the easier to extract the inflamed gland. 39. This abrupt deus ex machina is up there with bamboozling codgers at cards. Beside the minor arteries, middle managers congregate to flush deliberated wisdom of a positive variety, drowned out by alarm calls, caught on the fly among the optimized and angry timber. 40. The demand for clarity will resume trading, given the distraction nature reserves for the ravers among us. Mouthing pleasantries, he blocked his ears in a social bubble, alongside breathless songbirds in their luminous nesting quarters at the heart of the fire. 41. Who is it that was dreaming, he inquired, checking for trapped ideas. Ambition slipped from one face to another, eager to sell the project. Teaches you how to respond in difficult situations, with consciousness fighting an unavailing battle, hoping to reunite it with its loving owner. 42. Zeal for obscurity is valued in the drone. As the entire edifice shakes apart in localized tremors, oscillating amusingly, the heads of zoo exhibits nod in unison, with provocative architecture in an occupational level geared for failure under rule of law. 43, May 27. Siphoning sugars to some higher powers rots upright metals by design. Concrete collisions buckle long times into vestigial enterprise. Her perfect form is a rich seam boosted by forced decisions not to act, are kind of empty. 44. Instinctive aversion to a glancing blow, levered from bone by scarlet out of deep to the veiled canticular stone janitors, their betters exercised at velvet policies. The marshaled flame occludes all known exits, so a lightweight care can host. 45. It is difficult to say how, in the sleeves of the presumed addict, hypervelocity impacts, competing risks are otherwise shielded by attention-seeking mistakes. On the map where orchards and running water vent loss of precision on suppressed laughter, envisioning upheaval. 46. Vicissitudes, they call them, combing thin air for crypto-explosion structures. Affected by grief, perplexing sunlight fell off the bed along the same road, unable to imagine scalene surfaces, the gates of paradise undone by crystals, a final gazelle. 47. Sleaze is virtuous. In the kingdoms, escalated to a superior view, with dots joined up, high tensile fibers hold stock in enigmatic conglomerates, making elasticity of mind an unknown quantity. If bulk endurance coincides with mourning, great lengths of boiler slag are scarcely acceptable. 48. Significant concerns remain. About the spangled avatars of zero, that favorite span of stainless blades, opened to enforce a statistical anomaly harder than death. They have at no point stated whether the spine exists. He couldn't have been more surprised. 49. The occasion demands a sizable cosseting, going to landfill, in accordance with directives from the company of heavenly avengers, keeping their heads down in the dumps. Found himself reduced to incoherent fury on both sides of his mouth. 50. Reinvigorated in the fitness areas where lights watch memories of the next opportunity unspool carelessly, on the way home, static flickers. No one finds it moving as great events occur, training the heart to encompass new centuriated lands. 51. Quelled by sad shocks, tamed beasts step elaborately high, admired by devotees of dubious pursuits in their domestic furies, trapped in paper, polite thunders. Through obedient machines normal in the groves, blood mounts and runs, pardon extracted too. 52, May 28th. Initially uneasy in these alleged detriments gave him further pause, as ours secreting doubt involves the prison estate in warding a merciful soup of agonists. Cascades impractical, lights their teeth had not forgotten how to smile. 53. Understandably skimped on the exequies. After all, there's a queue forming. Not the least emotion invested in an open grin, reported after judicial hanging on such a gala day. Together, we toast those our very lives rely on, Value them. Don't make me laugh. 54. Fumbled execution, mistaken for kindness, ends frequently unclear, but the drive relentless. Terrestrial forces rule the day, surely as any asterisms, so close up as to be invisible. Groves eradicated, just as they came to harvest. Misgivings cultivated, fruit to grief. 55, May 30. Tossed a needle in the air. Laughable gestures cause temporary blindness. The fires are for cautery. Clashes continue on the reeved streets. Lay figures downtown fell to earth, still charged with the original thread. Thank you.